Well, hey, afternoon, everybody. Pastor Rob, as we just gathered together here at Southlake Church for another Immerse Daily Devotion. See, here at Southlake, we engage, grow, and share Jesus in our community relationships. This is a way that we gather together and just come together as we just look at what it means to have a relationship with Jesus. And today, we're going through Immerse with Romans. Now, with Romans, this is a letter that Paul's writing to help share with everybody about what's going on. See, Rome has a church that was started by fellow Christians who heard about Jesus, and Paul's now writing to them. See, Paul has not started this church. He's not met these people. He just knows that they are people who believe in Jesus. They are people who gather together and want to have relationships with Jesus. So he's writing this letter to Rome, to this church, to help them have a better understanding of what's going on in their lives, all that's happening. Now, to stay in touch with Immerse, what we do together here at Southlake Church, you can join us on our webpage at southlakelc.org. You can check us out here on Facebook at Engage, Grow, and Share Jesus in our community events, as well as on Twitter and Instagram at southlakelc.org. So, again, join us together as we just come together as we engage, grow, and share. Now, you might be wondering, how do I get a part of Immerse? How do I get to hear what's going on? How can I start joining and reading all that's happening? If you look right here, this is my email. If you send me an email, I'll get you up to date when we're meeting, all coming together. And that's at rbailey@gdlc.org. Again, if you want to get involved with Southlake, want to learn more of all that's happening, join us here together. So now, with all that happening, with all that going on, let's talk about our reading. So our reading today starts with Romans. And we're now going from just the intro to the next step. And when we see with the letter of Romans, it helps us better understand our faith, help us better understand our condition, what God's been doing from the very beginning up to this point and going forward. In our beginning reading of Romans, we've learned yesterday that when it comes to who God is, His law, and again, when we say the word law, we're not just talking about rules to follow, but really who God is, His essence. It's on all of our hearts, which is why we see as a human condition, as a human population, we seek for something beyond who we are. There are many similarities to what we believe and see and seek. And Romans says, because it's all on our hearts, that we are engineered, built, grown in a way that seeks out there's something beyond us to have a relationship with. And we find out that relationship is with our God in heaven. And since the very beginning, that relationship, thanks to Adam, has been broken. It's either been confused or lost or we don't understand, and we continue to seek a better understanding. And so Paul is writing to the Romans to help them seek it, learn it, to grow in a relationship with God. This past week we read from Galatians, and in Galatians we see a better reason why we have a relationship with God. What was the purpose behind it? Well, now we get to read in Romans what God was planning and doing throughout time together. And I like what Paul says here, and he really makes a point in our reading today that we were supposed to have a relationship with God from the beginning. But it's now broken, and he points to Adam for it. And there's some jokes there. Did Adam make the mistake? Did Eve? The answer is God made Adam, and he chose to really step up. And because of that, we're all paying for it. No matter who started that chain of events, at the end of the day, Adam did not step up to take care of how he should have. And because of it, that relationship with God is broken. And that's something that each and every one of us is dealing with today. And a lot of the answers about the hurt, the brokenness in the world, the things that you're dealing with. And you're asking, where's God? Where's all these things happening? Well, Paul makes a point right now. This is all because from the very beginning, that relationship was broken. And we see that brokenness throughout the world. Wow, that one, doesn't sound really fun. Two, not a great way to share in the United States, right? The idea that, guess what, you really can't fix the brokenness. It's here with us. It's been here. It's going to be here later. No law will change that. Well, that's not fun. But then Paul tells us that this relationship is mended through Jesus. Through his death, his resurrection. We now have a relationship with our Father in heaven. And this starts and it's because of who Jesus is. Not from the things that I have done, not one of the things that you have done, because what God has done to mend that relationship, which is like the coolest thing ever. That's why Romans chapter 3 makes a point that all of our wages, all the things we do, leads to death. Because sin, no matter who we are, what we do, it just goes towards that direction. But this relationship with God, this gift we have that takes us away from that keeps us from falling down off the cliff, so to speak, is because of the relationship of who Jesus is and what he's done for you, for me. And what Romans is going to do is go through and talk to us how we're united with that. And we're going to hear more about that when it comes to baptism, with the death and relationship of Jesus. We're going to read more about that, about ourselves and the struggles that we're going to face with that. We're going to continue reading about how, well, you have the Christians of this time period, but you have the Jewish people, the descendants of Abraham that God has in the Old Testament. Well, how does this all work together with this relationship? And then we're going to be called out how we live that relationship with others. I love Romans because it's so full packed with different ways of understanding who God is for ourselves, but with one another, but especially pointing back to him. And as we keep reading through Romans, we're going to see that together. Wow. For those who don't know, Southlake Church is a Lutheran church with a Lutheran background. We have Martin Luther, a part of the Reformation. Romans, this letter we're reading, really was a spiritual call for him to wake up and really call out the church for their misgivings and really misunderstanding this relationship with God. And as we read Romans together right now, we see the need not of ourselves to make God happy, but how God made us in relationship through Jesus. So as Luther was discovering that himself back in the 1500s, I hope today as we continue to read and discover how God has that relationship with us. So please join us tomorrow, 8 a.m. And again, join us on Zoom. We're going to be shortly going to start meeting at Noah's Ark. Can't wait for that. But it's just a time for us to gather together. And Jessica, who leads us, asked 4 questions. Is there something that you learned that was new? So throughout this week or today, did you learn something new? Hey, Mark, how's it going? Did you learn something new? Are there questions you have? And probably about with today's, if the God is all-powerful, knowing and knew that this relationship would break in the first place, why even allow it? That's a question. Or maybe what does that mean for us to live our lives today? Things to ask. So we'd love to hear that. The third question she's going to ask of us is, has your perspective of God changed today? And a lot today's reading was focused also on this relationship because we are children of God. And he is our Father. And the reason why he mends it and doesn't let us go down in destruction, because we are his children. That's a key phrase. In fact, this Sunday we're going to talk about more. What does it mean to be children of God? And what does that mean for God to be our Father? How does this impact our week this week? What's going on with all that's happening? What does that mean for you to share that love of Jesus, but also live a life because Jesus died for you? It doesn't mean we live perfectly. It doesn't mean we make God happy. But it's about letting people experience that relationship. How's that going to change you? Well, again, we'd love for you to join us here at Southlake Church, especially with Immerse. If you're looking to get involved, just send an email right here, rbailey@gdlc.org. We would love for you to be a part of this and just continue to have that relationship with our Lord Jesus Christ. Because here at Southlake Church, we engage, grow, and share Jesus in our community relationships. This is something we do together because this is all about relationships with Jesus. Well, God bless you guys this weekend. Stay safe down in here in Houston. It's August. It's end of August, which means it's time to watch all the tropical depressions and storms form in the Gulf. And this year we're getting hit with two in the Gulf at the same time. So I love 2020. Well, hey, take care, everybody. And again, I would love for you guys to join us Saturday mornings. God bless.